What's up guys, this is John, and in this video I'm going to suggest a very fundamental but powerful and interesting paradigm shift that you can make as a human. So what I'm suggesting in this video is a shift from a shift in our fundamental understanding of the nature of reality. And so we're going to be moving from materialism to idealism. Materialism is the idea that fundamentally reality, like this, is matter, or it's a dead, inert substance that exists prior to and outside of experience. Implicit in materialism is that matter is what gives rise to consciousness in the form of brain. That's materialism, and that's what we live with here in the West by and large. This is how scientists think. This is what philosophers are trying to defend. And this is what we as individuals, as lay people, kind of live with as the background explanation or understanding for things. And then idealism, or what I'm suggesting we shift to, is the understanding that consciousness is the fundamental nature of reality instead of matter. So from materialism to idealism. So how do we make this shift? Why do we make this shift? And why is it reasonable to make the shift? Okay, so first I'll start with why is it reasonable? And initially what we need to do there is address the problems with materialism, and there are a lot, but I'm going to go into the fundamental or the core problems with materialism. The first one being the hard problem of consciousness, which refers to the fact that we actually have no idea how matter gives rise to this experience. We know that there is a brain and that certain brain states correlate to certain experiences, but as of yet, we are no closer than we were 200 years ago to understanding how or why this structure gives rise to conscious perception. We have no idea. And that should be a red flag for the problems inherent in materialism, or the fundamental untruth of materialism. Another problem with materialism is that matter, or the non-experiential stuff, is entirely assumed. So we have no experience of matter. Science can't prove matter. And there's no good reason really to posit matter. And that sounds ridiculous, I know, because that's what we were all taught in school. That's what really smart people think. So it's kind of a hard pill to swallow, or a weird shift to make, but there's very good reasons for doing so. So matter doesn't make sense because of the hard problem, and because matter has to be assumed. It's never experiential. Idealism does away with the hard problem of consciousness by saying that there is no matter giving rise to experience. There is consciousness vibrating in certain ways or taking certain forms. Like you and this experience that I'm having right now is one of the forms that consciousness takes. It's not a brain configuring into a certain way and then magically consciousness appears, because that is magic. There's no explanation, so it's just like magic. That's not saying that. All what we're saying is experience is fundamental, and this is one way that experience takes shape, and that the brain is one configuration of experience. Makes a lot more sense than materialism. No hard problem of consciousness. In idealism, we don't have to assume anything. So matter was entirely assumed. With idealism, we're just not doing that. We're skipping over that whole step and just saying what we experience is actually reality. So yeah, that's it for this video. I think that the best that I can do now is to offer you that shift and to suggest that you look into the matter for yourself, because the nature of reality, or what you hold to be the nature of reality, impacts your life in every domain, in every way. Your emotions, your relationship to other people, your understanding and relationship to self, death, life, all of these things are impacted by what you take to be the fundamental nature of reality. So it's best to get it straightened out for yourself. And it makes, wow. So this video is going to be very short, but the topic is worthy of books and books and books and videos and videos and videos, which I'm not going to be making here. It's not, my aim is simply to suggest this radical fucking thing that consciousness is everything. There is no matter. There is no material reality, no matter how solid it seems. That solidity is happening within consciousness and is consciousness. You are consciousness. Rocks are consciousness. And in future videos, I'll go into the implications of this and maybe the ways that it works. But here, my friends, and I'm making this for the people that I know and love primarily, is a suggestion that you just look into it for yourself. You experience it, you think about it, and you kind of flesh it out. Because, you are going to die, and one of the coolest things that we can do as humans is self-reflect and look at these things for ourselves. So, go for it. That's what Jesus and Buddha did, and we look up to them in this culture, even the secular ones. They did it, and they became happy, and they became loving, powerful individuals. And that is actually what tends to happen when you look into the nature of reality and do the investigation for yourself. So go ahead and do it, and have a great rest of your week. I'll leave some book suggestions and some video links below to help start up your investigation. And I will say, closing note, that this is a worthwhile thing to look into, and that serious benefits or serious growth in this domain of your intellect, of your consciousness and understanding requires some serious work, and that the work is worthwhile. So go for it, and until next time, go existence.